Hello, we're here.
Hey guys! Yeah, we are here.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we're
Hey
here.
guys!
Yeah.
Welcome to Having to Roll. Um, my name's Robin, and we have Oliver here, and
Hello.
we're here to chat to you about some fun D&D cosplay related things today. But first of all, we have a couple of announcements. Um, Firstly, you guys can come and hang out with us in our growing Discord community. We love to have you there. We love to chat with you guys. But we also have another rather special announcement. Oliver, would you like to take it away?
Yeah, if you can see just down here, I think it should be. There's a little subscribe button now because we made affiliate in like 10 days just from me streaming some silly Lego games. So I'm super excited about that. Thank you very much.
I know, no, that was amazing. And we also, if you subscribe to us, there's a few different perks that you guys can get. Firstly, you get a cute little Rottweiler emote next to your
Yeah,
name.
who doesn't want that?
It's adorable. It's this cute tiny little Rottweiler. You also get some super cool emotes, which I'm sure we can display in the chat. Oh, we have so many emotes.
Do we? Yeah,
So
we
many.
went a bit emote mad because we were like, yes, there we go. We had to. Oh my god, Tom, look at
Oh
that.
gosh, Tom!
Beautiful human beings. This is why we're so. This is why we're so blessed. This is literally why we got to this goal because we have an amazing community, amazing friends that do stuff like
Yeah.
that. So there you go.
Honestly, yeah, I cannot believe how amazing you guys have all been since we started, and we wouldn't have gotten here if it wasn't for all of your wonderful support. So, yes, we have made affiliate, but it's because of all you wonderful people. So, congratulations to all of you for supporting us as well. And I guess, shall we announce our competition winner now?
Well, yeah, yeah. Now you've got everyone excited.
Yeah, we may as well. So, just to remind you of the competition that we had running, we have this lovely starter set for Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, I have one of those.
You do have one of
It's great.
those.
I honestly would have liked to have won a second one because they're just great to give away to friends.
Exactly. They have everything that you need to go ahead and start your own adventure. And this one is completely sealed though, and we have a winner. So, drum roll.
Oh, that's not a drum roll, is it? I don't know. That's a child trying to gargle after brushing his teeth. I don't know what that was. Gargle, please.
Well, after our gargle, our winner is Speed Joink over on Instagram.
Instagram.
So, congratulations. I was just checking to see if he's in the chat currently, but he's not. But that will be announced officially on Instagram later. And of course, the only account that will be contacting anyone regarding the competition is our own original account. There will be no others contacting anyone. Just in case, you never know. So, today we are going to chat about something that, well, we both really enjoy, and that's cosplay and Dungeons and Dragons, but together.
Yeah.
Sound pretty good?
Yeah. Yeah, two of my favorite things.
Exactly. And Oliver and I have both enjoyed cosplaying over the years, but more recently we've been cosplaying our own Dungeons and Dragons characters. And I've had a lot of comments and messages from people saying, I want to cosplay my Dungeons and Dragons character, but I don't know where to start. And it can be so daunting when you first get into it because there's so much information and not everything is available to everyone. So, to start off with, Oliver, is there any of your characters that you have cosplayed and any of them that you would really like to cosplay?
No. I mean, I kind of cosplayed my bard. Davin. I've wanted to cosplay pretty much all of my characters because every time I create a character, I always have cosplay in mind. I know a lot of people like to, cosplay your Dragonborns. People like to play different genders, different human races and things like that. But I always try and keep my characters as close to me as possible, just in case I want to cosplay them. So I don't tend to cosplay anyone that I tend to cosplay a lot of humans, or half elves. Just so I have that in the back of my mind, just in case I actually I want to cosplay them. But no, Davin's my bard. Davin, he's the only one I've actually cosplayed to any extent. How about you, Robin?
Well, I have cosplayed a couple of characters. So I'm seeing all the subscriptions coming in, and we actually have a hype train incoming. So another huge thank you there to Indigo Ghost for subscribing, and to Keylime as well. You now all have access to our super cool emotes. And we are on our way to a hype train. That's pretty cool.
I'm not entirely sure how you get a hyped. Is it just you just subscribe the sheer amount of subscribers within a short period of time? Is that the hype train? Is it?
Well, the hype train goes up in levels. So by people donating things like bits and subscribing, it builds it up and it goes up to different levels. And our chat is so pretty. Look at all those emotes.
Oh no! Look at that.
There we go. Laura said it's when a certain number of different people either give subs, or give bits over a certain amount. Nice. But yeah, I have cosplayed quite a few of my D&D characters. I've cosplayed my wonderful bard Annalise. I have cosplayed my monk Torvi, and also my monk Arnell. But these cosplays, none of them have been made from scratch. They have all been built up by just buying accessories from different shops and putting them together. The cosplay skill within them is actually very low, I would say. It is just taking different pieces I found in everyday shops and putting them together. So I guess, Oliver, you've already touched on it, but the first sort of important thing about trying to cosplay your character comes right back at the start when you're creating your character. And if you think, I'd really like to cosplay them, then it's good to keep that in mind when you're actually creating them. For example, cosplaying a 7-foot dragonborn will be a little bit more challenging than cosplaying a human ranger. That's something to keep in mind. It's not that you can't cosplay a 7-foot dragonborn, because you totally could, but for your first one, might be a challenge.
No, you totally can. You can cosplay. I think we should maybe for people who don't know, because I think a lot of people watching now are D&D people. Maybe not a lot of them are cosplay people. So do we know what cosplay actually is, Robin? What is cosplay?
Well, cosplay is taking a character. It could be from film, book, TV series, or an original creation of yourself. It then involves dressing like the character to any level. Cosplay can be simply... How about an example? If you want to cosplay Rapunzel from Disney, cosplaying Rapunzel could be as simple as wearing things in her colors and doing something really cool with your hair to put you into it. Or it could be full on getting into exactly what she wears. But cosplay isn't just about the actual outfit, I would say. I would say it's also about being the character, which is where the term cosplay actually comes from. It's from actually becoming the character and playing like the character.
Yeah, because it's the cosplay is the combination of the words costume and role playing. So this is this is why TTRPGs, tabletop role playing games, they tend to meld quite well. And there seems to be there's been a lot of crossover, I think, as well. A lot of people who are into cosplay, especially with the pandemic, and they couldn't go to conventions anymore, and so they go, I just want to be characters. And I think a lot of them ended up going over to Dungeons and Dragons, and now we've got a lot of people just cosplaying their own Dungeons and Dragons character, right? And that's the weird thing, is that it's all original characters, because usually cosplay was, it started out in anime. People would, buy or make costumes of their favorite anime character and go to conventions. But now people are creating the characters and then actually making costumes for them. Then you're actually role playing in the game anyway. So if you put a costume on and you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, you're actually cosplaying, not just costuming.
Exactly. And so I guess going on from there, so cosplaying your Dungeons and Dragons character, first thing is picking your race, of course, and keeping that in mind when it comes to picking your race. You can cosplay anything, literally anything from Dungeons and Dragons, but it can always make it easier on yourself. For example, I'm an elf, so I always make sure that my D&D characters are elves, and that makes it much easier, for the ears and everything. So that's something to consider. I've been working on breaking cosplaying a D&D character down into sections that are nice and simple. And the first thing that I would advise would be, where is this cosplay? Or the first thing I would ask is, where are you wearing the cosplay? Is it just for sitting on a Zoom call like this and playing D&D over the internet? Or is it for going out to a convention or a in-person game or meetup? Because it's very different the way you would actually put it together. With everything that's happened within the world, so many more of us are playing Dungeons and Dragons online via video apps such as Zoom or Discord or Roll20. Cosplaying on a camera, most of the focus is from your chest up. So therefore, costume-wise, you want to focus on all the pieces that are going to be around your neck, any shoulder armor, these sort of things. But a lot of it comes into your face. What do you think, Oliver, when it comes to your face is important, yes. But when it comes to doing your makeup for a camera, it's a little bit different than for in person. Mm-hmm. You want to really sort of lean into changing the shape of your face and making yourself look like your character, which I think is a lot of fun.
So would you start with makeup then? If we're going through the process of, okay, I want to start cosplaying my character, would you start with looks and makeup then?
I tend to personally start with what my face is going to look like. So if my character has freckles, I will practice different techniques of creating freckles. If my character is very fae-like, which is all my characters, I tend to do lots of highlighter and work on different techniques to do with my hair and even wigs as well, because that really creates a big sort of impact on camera. But when it comes to the costumes, I like to focus top first and then work down.
Should we give a shout out to one of our supporters in the chat who also has an amazing wig game when it comes to cosplaying characters on stream, the Hype Goblin?
Yes. Yeah. Is the Hype Goblin in chat right now?
I saw their name pop up.
You saw their name? Oh my gosh! Right. You want to see wig game? You need to check out a Hype Goblin. She plays this character called Delilah. Now, Delilah is Delilah is a multi-class of 3 different classes, and it's pretty impressive the way that she puts her together. I absolutely adore her. But her wig is this beautiful blue shade, but she has butterflies in it, shells. She's got lots of intricate plaits all around it, and she doesn't need to do anything else. If she just puts the wig on, she has become Delilah, and it's enough. And it is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, you don't have to wear a wig to cosplay your character. There's lots of different accessories you can do around your head. I've already mentioned ears. So elf ears, because I would say they're probably a very popular choice within D&D. I have no idea what the most popular.
What, as in the race? You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of popular. Yeah, I think if we're talking about playing online as well, the problem with ears, prosthetic ears, are the headphones. Yeah,
Yeah.
Same with wigs as well. Like if you're going to, you might have your super duper fancy gaming headset. That's not. It might not look great, or you might end up, especially with a wig it's already going to be pretty hot to wear. Wearing your headset on top of that as well can be a bit much. So you might have to sacrifice for a pair of earbuds, unfortunately.
That's what I found, because I had a proper gaming headset and I was using it. And then I was like, but I want elf ears. And the only way for that to work is by things like these, which I'm now so used to, I can't actually switch back. But that is something to consider. Although you can also use your lovely big gaming headsets to add to your cosplay. For example, if you're cosplaying a tiefling and you want horns, most of the horns you get attached to a headband. You can actually kit out your headset to make them work for your D&D character and add all of that really cool feature up top. That's what I think is quite smart. But I guess another big thing comes down to skin color in D&D. There are many characters that are bright purple or green or orange.
I think we were talking about elves. I think the tieflings are another very heavily played race as well.
Yeah, and I mean, body paint is an option. I don't know how much any of you guys have used body paint before. It does require a lot of precision and it can be very messy. It definitely does create a beautiful look, but to do that every week for a D&D game is a lot. And even to do it at a convention, it takes a lot of time and it can be quite difficult to basically go out and play games and things when you've got that much paint on. But there's lots of different types of paint, and some of body paints are actually a bit easier than others to work with. For example, your cream-based paints, they're the ones that you'll see face painters use on kids. They're quite easy because they're cheap, they're easy to apply, and they give a really good effect. It goes up from there because your water-activated paints look better, but they're water activated. So you get caught out in the rain, it's a nightmare. Or if you're like me and you spill beer, then you end up with that sort of situation. But I did find a way to paint yourself up like your character without using body paint, okay? It's all about using eyeshadow. Because if you use, so just where you would contour normally, if you want to be purple, for example, if you use dark shades of purple and build them up and just lightly build it up around your features and then cover it in a setting spray or hairspray, it doesn't move, it stays there, it's really cheap, and it doesn't take a lifetime to apply.
So you just spray your face.
Just cover it in eyeshadow and then spray it.
Yeah.
A disclaimer, I have no qualifications in this field. Please don't inhale hairspray.
Yeah. I mean, I think you touched on it just there, but you were saying how the makeup has a different look. I'm assuming that is the same for coloring your skin and the face paints and things like that. I'm assuming, because going out, I remember feeling very, very bad for cosplayers when you walk around the con scenes and you see the enthusiastic cosplayers that have decided to paint their entire body the color green, let's say, and you can tell it's the first time they've actually done it, was the day of the convention. And you could just see how defeated they are, even like 2 hours in, and it's all coming off. It's all, and you realize that they've been like, oh no, I have to cover my entire body with this. But at least
God, yeah.
if you're just doing it for camera, it's not. I think a trick there is yeah, if you're going to cosplay a half-orc character that you want to cosplay, maybe give them long sleeves. So you don't have to, so you don't, and maybe why not a high collar or some sort of neck embellishment, so you don't have to go green everywhere, you know.
Another thing as well, guys, if you are wanting to put together, if you're like, no, I've got this tiefling, I love this tiefling, and they wear hardly anything, and I want to make this work. Best bit of advice is to actually head over to Jenny D's video on Cosplaying Jester, because she has a link to a site, which I will find and put in here. She's a link to a site, and they specialize in full body, not so much full body suits. You can buy every part separately. So you can buy the sleeves, the tights, even just the chest and the neck pieces. And then they have a color code that will match up to the paint that goes with them. So you can basically wear this nice, thin, full body suit, totally changes the color of you, and just apply paint to your face. And it's much easier because you're not getting paint everywhere, especially if you are wearing it to maybe go to a convention to meet up with people, and you maybe want to give someone a hug or get a photo with someone, and you don't want to cover everyone in paint. That's always a good option. I have painted myself like green once.
Yeah. Do you remember that when you were well, do you want to tell everyone who you were cosplaying?
I was cosplaying Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy, and I painted myself green. I painted my full body green, and it was my first convention. That was in hindsight, I could have maybe practiced it at least once. In hindsight, yeah, I think it worked out fine though.
Well, I do remember. You remember that when you were cosplaying Gamora? I think it might have been the second time we were walking around that con in Glasgow, and the look of horror on the art, some of the art tables, look at horror at their face when they saw you approaching their art table and like going to pick things up covered in paint.
Yeah, gloves are good. But yeah, so of course not everyone has a character that has a full face of fey makeup and a crazy wig or anything that would help. A lot of people have characters that have other defining features though that can help around this area, and that would be scars and tattoos.
How would you go about doing that?
Yeah, go for it. Sorry.
I was going to ask. You're more of the authority on this, so I was just jumping in to ask you questions.
Well, the best thing for scars is liquid cordon. It's basically a little clear tube. It has a little paintbrush in it, and you paint it onto your skin. And the idea is, as it dries, it tightens and shrinks, and it pulls your skin to create a scar. If you do just one quick little line, you will get a very subtle scar. If you end up doing several lines, one on top of the other, you'll have a much deeper scar. And you can keep building this up. It's amazing because it's so fast. It dries very quickly. And I've used it a lot for characters such as Lagertha from Vikings. I used a lot of face scars with her, and it's a great tool. It creates more old scars, if that makes sense, especially if you've got a character that's maybe had that sort of backstory where they've got all these old war scars. You can use it to create fresh looking scars. Doesn't work as well though. For fresh scars, what do you think, Ollie? I was sort of thinking silicone scars.
Go out and fight someone.
Go and fight someone.
It's
Okay,
just
so you
just
could
get
go
into
out
a
and find
rules
someone.
just get into a rules argument with your D&D group, you know. That's a good way to get scars, right? No, do not go out and get real scars.
Yeah, Laura said there, pick a bar fight, but tell them to only hurt you in very specific ways. Laura, I think you're touching on to something else there, but sure, you could totally do that. Ask for specific injuries from people.
Yeah.
Failing that, liquid latex is great.
Yeah, I think with like scars, I think less is more from what
Yeah.
I've seen. People tend to go all out and go, oh, I'm gonna get this massive scar, and obviously there's a lot of glue that has to hold the large scar there. Whereas really all you need is a just a slight change in the skin texture to make it look scarred anyway. So you really don't need a lot,
Yeah.
depending on what you're going for, But I think the main thing is like all the stuff we'll talk about today is start small.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I'm saying start with the bits that you're comfortable with. So most of you, I imagine, are comfortable with your own face and your own hair and doing things there. So just by starting within that comfort zone and just experimenting a little bit with scarring, with different types of makeup, with different types of hair accessories and ear accessories. Comfort is very important. So if you're not used to doing all this sort of stuff, the first time you do it, if you go all out, you're going to be feeling very uncomfortable very quickly, which isn't ideal, especially if you're doing it to play a D&D game. You want to be comfortable because you want to be concentrating on what you're actually doing in the game.
Can I pick up on something that Laura put in the chat as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, Laura said a nice scarf for your half orc. On that note, yeah, cosplay is hot as hell. Like just any type of you'd be surprised. Literally just putting a wig on. For those of you who have never put a wig on before, just that it just increases your body temperature crazily, especially if you're like playing a game. And so anything like that, the more you put on, yeah, the more you do. It's sometimes it doesn't even make sense. Sometimes you'll just be like, oh, I've just got a shirt on. It's just cosplay, but for whatever reason, your temperature just soars. Unless you're in a winter outdoor convention, then it can be the opposite. But yeah, the general rule is prepare to be hot if you want to cosplay or live action role play in any type of costume or do costuming, any of that type of thing. So you might be like, yeah, my character is a half orc with facial scars and prosthetics and fake teeth, and yeah, he has a scarf and leather armor. And then you want to sit down and play D&D for 4 hours. You might struggle, right?
You probably will struggle, but I mean, if you really want to do it, it's nothing stopping you. You could definitely go for it. But starting small is always a bit easier. When it comes to, so we've talked about your scars. You also mentioned orc teeth there as well. Yeah. That's another real popular one. The advice I would give with anything involving your mouth, especially teeth like that, is practice being your character away from the game while wearing them. Some people have said that wearing these sort of teeth actually helps them create a unique voice and sound for their character. Especially the orc teeth, they have to kind of go a lot deeper and a lot rougher to actually be able to speak with them. You've got to open your mouth wider, which means you can create a completely unique voice and cadence for your character just by adding these teeth onto you. So that could be a win-win.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you might,
yeah. If you have a oh, I mean, while we're on that topic, I think because it comes under that bracket. Just props. You don't have to start out with actually a costume at all. You can literally just have a props, and you're pretty much cosplaying. So a lot of people will have a wizard's tome. That they write their spells in. They'll have a a hat or a sword or a flute or a recorder or something for their bard, that they're always a good way, and it stimulates, for me anyway, it stimulates role playing. I don't tend to have props, but I tend to pick up my pen and do something with it. Like if I'm playing my wizard character, I'll do this and pretend it's a staff, and like just to get myself into character, because just using the pen as a prop. So you can have a real staff. If it's like if I'm playing a hobbit or something like that, and he's got a pipe, or I'm playing Gandalf or something, then I'll just pretend that it's a pipe. But you can actually get these props, and it'll help your roleplay.
That should be the next thing that we do. Become your character with one accessory.
Yeah. Oh my god, we should totally do that. Yeah. Well, you know what we should do? Yeah, is we should do some sort of game where we could give out props, and you have to come up with a character based on that prop. How cool would that be?
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, you're like, we'll do like a one shot, and then go, right, okay, you've got there's a pipe, a staff, or a shepherd's crook or something. We could totally an old book, a feather pen or something, and like, right, make a character based around the prop, and you have to use the prop.
That could be a lot of fun.
A little ukulele, something you can hand out. Go,
especially you add like really daft things as well. A little unicorn keyring. I don't know.
Unicorn keyring.
That came to mind.
I think that would be a little bit unfair. How am I gonna incorporate this unicorn earring?
Well, once it was a real unicorn, and then a wizard cast a curse on it, and it's been shrunk into this little form. And your whole backstory and your whole mission and goal for your character is to find a cure for your unicorn buddy.
And you just keep talking to the unicorn. You'd be like,
you just keep talking to the unicorn.
I will save you. I will release you from this living hell.
So my next elf's going to be. But moving on from that, though, I think a lot of you would actually like to know how to make an outfit for your character. And it does seem daunting when you start looking up things, especially if you're like me and you look up inspiration on Pinterest, and then you end up there for 3 hours, and then you have all of these images that you love, and you cannot decide which way to go with them. My advice is pick one thing, one accessory, one feature, one thing that you want to incorporate. That could even be if you know you want to have a corselet or something, if you know you want to have a cool shoulder piece, and then build the rest around that, because that way you'll end up creating the things that you really like and you really want to make first, and the other accessories will just come from that. I've made Aranelle's cosplay several times now because she's an Eladrin. So I get to keep changing her based on the seasons, which I think is a lot of fun. Her last cosplay was one I've worn recently, which was her autumnal look, and had lots of leaves and butterflies and bees and all sorts over her. That was 1 day's worth of work. That was a base layer of a leotard, and I hot glued artificial leaves to it. That was it. Yeah. That is all that was. It was just a case of just constantly sticking them on until it worked. I had some little butterflies, and I found some little embroidered bees. That's all that went into that. I destroyed our cool autumn wreath to do it, but I think it looks better now.
Should we bring up one of the cons as well of cosplaying an original character? Is that yes. is that compared to cosplaying a well-known character, if you want to cosplay something from pop culture, I guarantee you, especially these days, I guarantee you there's been many people that have done it before you. So if you want to go, how do I make a Batman cowl? You can go online and there will be a plethora of tutorials and people to help you make that. the downside of making an original character is that it's if it's your own design, then yeah, you're gonna have to dig a little bit deeper to find exactly what you want. You want to get at least a little bit close. Why don't we talk about that, Robin? What because this will bleed through into just general D&D character design and what you'd want to do for art, because obviously if you create your character with cosplay in mind, you do the same thing. I know you do the same thing for the character art as well, right?
Mm. Yeah, when it comes to character art, I tend to look for, well, when it comes to actually designing the character, I guess I tend to pick things that are very similar to myself. I tend to stick with my same sort of skin tone, body type, and hairstyle. That's just because I find that a bit easier. And because most of my characters are all different parts of my own personality, I find it easier when they actually look a little bit similar to myself already. When it comes to the art, I do tend to literally search for silver-haired elf art on Pinterest. Yeah. I have so many of them. And then when it comes to actually getting art made, well, actually, an interesting one, Oliver, is our last two characters, because we both did the same thing to create some unique looking art for our characters.
When I had so for my bard Davin, when I was sending through information on to the artist, Robin and I both did this. She did it for her character, her monk. I just sent the artist a picture of my face and was just like, here's my face. Base the shapes of his face off of mine, you know? So then I could be like, yeah, it'll be easy to imitate the art because the art's already imitating me. So that's one way to do it. Obviously the hair, I didn't say for the hair, which goes back to the cosplay thing. I literally sent the artist a picture of Thor from one of the Avengers films, and I was just like, yeah, his hair is like this, which is really easier than describing it. But then if I want to cosplay the character, then it's way easier then, because I already have in my head, I need to get a Thor wig. You know, instead of going, I need to find a blonde wig that's sort of like this or like that, I can just go, you know what, I'm just going to search the internet how to make a Thor wig, or how to make a wig like Thor's. So you want to try and make it as easy for yourself as possible, because making costumes can be very, very hard.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I mean, yeah, when it came to RNL, I literally sent him a picture of my face, and I actually, because I knew I was cosplaying her, and at this point, I'd already created her first cosplay before I got the art done. So I sent him pictures of the blue armor that I made. I sent pictures of myself wearing the armor, and I styled my hair in the way that I was hoping to style it on stream, and sent him pictures of that. I went, yeah.
Kara's put in the chat that it's not an artist goes by Triangle Art on Twitter and other socials, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, they really did capture my eyebrow. I sent a picture of me doing my usual eyebrow thing, and that's why he has the eyebrow. And I think they sent me back one picture, and they were like, is this expression cocky enough? And I was like, because I've gone overboard, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's just enough. So I asked for that. But yeah, make it easier on yourself if you're doing that. I mean, again though, Robin, it's like if you wanna be a Dragonborn and you want to cosplay a Dragonborn, then all power to you. But it's it's obviously going to be a bigger leap, to make, for something like that to look really good. And they do. I've seen some amazing. I've seen some amazing like Dragonborn and lizard men, lizard folk. Well, lizard men as well, Warhammer and that. costumes that are just amazing. But it takes a lot of work, and there's a lot of lot of skills you need to pick up along the way.
Yeah. But that's the wonderful thing about actually cosplaying anything, in fact, is that you learn so many new skills. It doesn't matter if you are sitting there now thinking, I don't know how to do makeup. I've never worn a wig. I don't even know how to put a pleat in my own hair. I've never sewn. Don't know the first thing about even using a heat gun or hot glue gun. If you're sitting there thinking about all that, it doesn't matter because we started with zero knowledge.
I'm going to translate: a pleat is a braid for all you people who aren't Scottish.
So yes, if you want to braid, I didn't even catch that there.
Yeah, well, it's it's quite a that's a real Scottish colloquialism. Because I would say plait, you would say pleat, but I know the wider known term is a braid.
Yes, I knew that because I've been slowly putting this all into writing to help people out. And I wrote the word pleat and I went back over it and went, I should change that to braid because someone's going to know what a pleat is.
Yeah, everyone's going to be searching the word pleat and they're going to be like, what? There's a pleat.
Oh dear. So yeah, you learn so many skills as you go. And there's so many things that we've still to learn.
Yeah.
And one of the things is something that Carl has just put in the chat, and I'm going to pass this over to Oliver.
well, I mean,
Because you've been looking into it more than I have.
Yeah. Oh, I've 100% looking into it. I am terrified of it. I have this project that is like my Everest. Well, it's more like my nemesis. It's my nemesis Everest. That's what it is. I really want to cosplay Gimli from Lord of the Rings. But that is a mountain of a costume. It is one of these deceptively complex costumes to do. And the thing is with beards, you might already know this, Carol, if you've asked that question as well, maybe, is that a lot of fake beards don't look that great. You know, the ones you get, because you need like a multitude of different colors. You know, especially the type of facial hair that people want to go for, because obviously you can get your all your different types. You can get your mustaches, your goatee, and things like that. They're a lot simpler. In that case, you can literally get wig. It's netting, isn't it? Right, Robin? It's wig netting. Wig lace. There we go. I knew something wasn't right. You can literally get wig lace, and you can what's it called when you put. I'm there telling you about doing this. I can't even remember the terms. It's basically you have to get a special tool and you put the wig hair through the lace. It's got a name. I can't remember it, but you can literally make yourself a mustache. You can just draw it on this lace, get all your wig hair, lace, weave it into. It's not called weave. It's called something else. I think Robin's looking out for me. Just see I'm struggling, but yeah, and then you can actually make yourself a mustache, a goatee, and put it on. That's far easier. But yeah, what a lot of people are looking for is like, what I assume you mean is like dwarvish beards, which is like usually a masculine type, really wiry type hair, and then a lot of the beards you can get from costume shops, even ones from professional like costume supplies, that they're just way too fluffy and they're not wiry enough, and there's not enough variety of color. So I want to make one. I actually want to make a dwarvish beard, and I haven't figured it out yet how I'm going to do it, because what I want for Gimli is face prosthetics. So I want to make up. I'm thinking about making a prosthetic that completely covers my nose, so I can have the kind of dwarvish bulbous nose that's actually attached to the lacing that will have the beard on it. But we'll see. I've actually bought a load of It's a load of wool that I've got. It's a I think it's a blend of different types of wool. I think there's like alpaca wool or something in it. I've got it
Yeah.
all. Yeah, I've got it in all different colors, and the idea is to is it aerate, Robin? Well, it's something like ventilate. There we go. That's what it's
Oh
called. It's called
yeah, it
yeah.
is. It's
Yeah,
ventilate.
sorry everyone. It's called ventilating. It's called ventilating. Sorry, this is so long ago that I looked into this. I've got the tools for it and
Yeah.
everything, but it's called ventilating your wig. But you can do it on a wig as well. Obviously, when you get lace front wigs, you can obviously change the hairline and all this. That's what it
Mm.
is. But when you change that, it's called ventilating. There we go.
Yeah, it's basically it's like it's a small metal tool and it has a tiny little barb on the end of it. And what you do is you collect a couple of strands of hair and you push it through the actual wig lace itself and you pull it back on itself, creating a very fine knot. And you do that about 1,000 times.
Well, I
And that
mean,
creates
it's a tedious process. Someone we know made a well they got I think they got second place at the Star Wars gathering one year.
yeah.
They made a Wookiee costume with that technique. So it's like a 7 foot tall complete Wookiee, and they completely by hand ventilated the entire thing, and it wasn't Chewbacca. I think it was I don't know if it was an actual character. I don't know about Star Wars or that character, but it seemed like it was like generic Khajiit Wookiee, but it had all the different colors. It was like graying and brown and all this. It was just unbelievable to look at it up close. Unreal. I think he said it took him like over a year to actually get
Yeah,
it all
he
done.
said that he was like basically just sitting at night in front of the TV every night, picking it up and just sitting there doing it. Yeah. No, beards is definitely something that, like you said, you've looked into a lot. So got
Yeah,
several friends who are knowledgeable within the field, but
they're not
it's a
easy.
lot.
Also, yeah, going back to what I said about heat, that they are extremely hot. Like those fake ones that you get, probably even worse because they're itchy and they're hot. But yeah, I mean, if you're after just a little bit of facial hair, that's actually quite straightforward. I mean, you could actually get if you didn't want to ventilate, you could actually get a lace front wig and just cut a part out. What's the other type of wig called, Robin, that aren't lace?
Hard front.
Yeah, hard front. Like you can't cut into those because everything just falls to pieces. But the lace wigs, you can just cut things out. If you wanted to do it that way, if you want to do sideburns and things like that. That's dead straightforward. Also, while we're talking about adhesives, I think you touched on it before, right? But make sure you get the correct adhesives. Don't be sticking super glue on your face or anything.
I didn't actually mention it before, no. So make sure you're using things. Spirit gum is the most popular. Spirit gum is what I use for my ears. It's excellent. It bonds instantly, and it's not bad coming off of your skin. But if you catch your hair in it, it's a nightmare. So my advice for wigs: if you got a lace front wig and you're sticking them down, use got to be hair gel, which is if you're not too sure on the brand, it's basically a bright yellow bottle. And what to do is put it underneath the actual lacing itself, press it against your head, and get a hair dryer and hair dry over, not on a really high heat because obviously it's near your skin, but you're going to hair dry over it and let it set. Couple of layers of that, it won't move. Also, it's hair gel. It's not going to pull your hair out at the end of the day, which
Yeah, you can wash it out.
yeah. Oh, you could just wash it out, nice and easy. It's not that expensive. And on top of that as well, a good way to make wigs look natural is by pulling out little hairs from them and creating baby hairs. Again, get the got to be gel and shape them around your head to give you that baby hair look. And therefore, you end up with a real natural hairline.
Yeah. Carol said her character's a gnome with a soft-looking beard. I think that would actually be easier to do because, correct me, Carol, that because I'm imagining gnomish beards being like bold on their lip and on their chin, and it just coming down like a strap like this, like a really old manny beard without a mustache. So that would probably be a lot easier to achieve, because you would just need, you could probably get away with getting some of the more cheaper, like Father Christmas or Santa Claus. I have to translate it myself now. Some like the Santa Claus beards, and just go to town with scissors, because they'll be cheap. And take out this part, and I would just glue it right from your sideburns, and just glue it literally to here, and I think you'll get that gnomish look. Or yours got full beard, yeah. You might, yeah. That's a little bit more tricky, and obviously a lot more hot. And then depending on again, a lot of the Santa Claus ones have got a really bushy around your mouth, making it quite difficult to speak. Because I know we've all seen those people who go, "Oh, I've got this wig and it's got this beard, sorry," and they put it on and they can barely like because it's the mustache. They haven't trimmed the mustache, because they won't take the scissors to the fake beard, so they can barely speak.
That's another thing as well. When it comes to these sort of beards and things, you can actually get real cheap beards, and then I'm trying to think of what it would be called. Ollie, I'm thinking like a metal curry comb. What would that be called? Like a comb for like stripping out dog fur.
Yeah, dog. Yeah, I mean, there's a big just grooming comb.
Yeah, so you want those ones with the sharper metal teeth, and it's sort of you get them in like a rows of sharper sort of metal teeth, and a lot of people use them for their dogs for stripping out fur. If you get one of those, you can actually pull it over these gently, and that will create a much better, more natural looking texture, while pulling out all the annoying hairs that are going to get everywhere. And then cover it in hairspray. Got to Be hairspray is really good.
Yeah, we are not sponsored by Got to Be.
We're not sponsored by them, but their stuff's great for this. That way you get rid of all the annoying bits that are going to tickle you, while giving it a much better look. With beards as well, if you're buying one, I would recommend getting, if you have a look, there's sprays for your hair for root regrowth. I can't remember the company that does them, but lots of places do them. You'll see them in any supermarket, and they're designed for touching up your roots and things, and you get them in a range of colors. They're great because they are real natural colors. Going into all the different, going into the base of the wig, of the beard, sorry, and spraying like that, and then brushing through, gives you some definition, because it's not going to be a solid color. That way you can get that nice definition coming through with a substance that's designed to not run straight off again. So that works out really well for those sort of things. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the things that I know about when it comes to actual facial hair. Of course, as well, what you can do is get, if you, I don't know what color your gnome's beard is actually, but if it's a darker color, then what you can actually do is you get lots of eyebrow tools for thickening eyebrows, and they literally have little hairs within them for painting on. You can actually do that around the edge and blend it in, and it makes it look like it's faded as it comes down the side, and then creates this lovely beard look. So you don't have this harsh line of where the beard starts and your face begins. But yeah, so I think another thing on your face that you can do is contact lenses. A lot of characters, a lot of different races have different shaped pupils, which can be quite unique in different colors.
Be careful.
Don't worry, I was getting there.
Yeah, I don't usually like to advise it, because don't go to an optician, go get them fitted, because you don't want to be just sticking any old thing in your eyes. Your eyes are very important. You even if you glue your skin together, that will come off eventually. You only get one pair of eyes, so for the sake of a cosplay, don't. It's not usually something I mess with anyway. Definitely
You
not.
don't get along with them, do you?
I don't. Well, it's only because you've got like eyes like 5 times the size of a normal person's, Robin. You just go. Blub. I've tried to put them in once. It took me about 2 hours, and then I was pretty much just blinded the entire day. It wasn't even that great an effect. I think I just made my eyes green, and that was it. And I was like, but once I started trying to do it, I was like, I will get these in. Yeah, my eyes just don't suit them at all.
Yeah, I mean, you can get tools now that you literally pick up the contact lens with and put it in. But yes, advice for contact lenses is go to an optician. Now, opticians can fit them and they're great for natural colors, but a lot of people don't realize that opticians, a lot of them, will also do more unique colors, especially if you're wanting like sort of a lilac tone throughout your eyes, which is quite popular for a lot of these characters. You can get these through your opticians, and that way you're getting them, there's nothing wrong with your eyes first. You know exactly how to put them in. They are more expensive. I will warn you. If you're getting them from an optician's compared to a fancy dress company, they're more expensive, but you're not going to go blind. So I think it's worth it. Worth the extra if you really want them.
Yeah. Again, to avoid that, I just don't cosplay characters that require yeah, it's they require them. I've had. I mean, we've got a friend that used to cosplay, and he just made his one prerequisite for any character that he cosplayed was that he could easily go to the toilet. Because a lot of cosplays that ain't that easy. People make these awesome costumes, especially the big ones with like the Wookiee one I mentioned earlier. Not that easy to go for a pee. No. So, yeah.
Yeah. Peeing's important when you're in cosplay. I'm guilty of not making things that are easy to go to the toilet. I have gone to conventions and just not peed for like 8 hours because I'm such a tricky outfit. Yeah. Again, though, little tip: if you're cosplaying a character, it doesn't have to be D&D related, but let's say it is, and it's wearing a ball gown style outfit, invest in, now these are actually, I'm saying invest, these are really cheap. You get them on eBay. They are designed for wedding dresses and they go underneath the dress, and they've got a string attached to them, and you pull them up and they pick the entire skirt so the dress up neatly. You tie them around your waist and you can go to the toilet. It's really useful. So that's my advice after cosplaying as Cersei Lannister several times and finding this information out after. My advice is get one of those.
So a lot of characters, Robin, they wear fabrics, don't they? Especially your spellcasters, but the other half of the adventuring party is usually wearing armor, aren't they? Whether it be leather or metal. How would someone go on about if they had a pauldron, like you said, that special item that you mentioned earlier, something that sits here? How would you suggest going about making a pauldron or buying a pauldron?
Okay, a few different ways. Well, let's start off with buying. When it comes to buying pauldrons, you can get a lot of very low cost plastic ones on likes of eBay and Amazon. Usually they're designed for fancy dress costumes. You can get things like those. If you do go down that route to get a plastic one, what you can then do is you can weather them up. And when I say the word weather, what I mean is using different tones of paint to create a look that makes them look like they are metallic and that they have been worn out, or actually, depending on your character, they may look completely pristine but still metallic, but you want to use your paints to create that nice effect. Then what you want to do is, with these sort of things, they always come with terrible attachments that will most likely fall off, usually nylon straps. I would get cheap leather belt from the supermarket, and I would put that in place of it instead because it'll be much more comfortable to wear and easy to size. But we're talking about making things, so.
Or I mean, Mecca's put in the chat. You could find a pot or a pan. That's a legit way to do it. But
Yes.
we have touched on things like comfort and heat. So yeah, that's one thing I'll say before you make your you move on to your next point, Robin. Yeah, using plastics and metals can be very uncomfortable and very hot.
Yeah, they've just said there they've done it before and it's not comfortable.
Yeah, it looks, yeah, they make it look really easy in cartoons when they just stick a pan over their head, but it's not something you've really it's not nice on your skull. Yeah,
No.
even if my character did have a pan on his head or a pot on his head, like there's a character in the Elder Scrolls Online that has a cooking pot on his head, and I've thought, oh, I could cosplay that character. But yeah, I would never use an actual piece of metal like that. So how would you go about making one then, Robin? If you had a shoulder piece that you wanted to show off on stream for your awesome paladin.
Yeah, personally, I would use foam to make one.
EVA foam, right?
Yes, EVA foam is what I would use to make one. Simply, reasons being, it's a bit more low cost. It's very lightweight, easy to come by, and it's a very forgiving material. And what I mean by that is if you completely fuck it up, you can still make it look good, is what I mean. Now, there are many sites online for getting decent high density EVA foam. And when I say high density, basically the higher the density, I thought you were signaling to me there. The higher the density, the more robust it actually is, but also the more expensive it is. You can literally go into a craft store and you can pick up sheets of EVA foam. Now, with these lovely sheets of EVA foam, you can then shape them to your shoulder. Now, to shape them to your shoulder, there's lots of different ways you can do this, but we're doing this on the knowledge that you've got no tools, okay? So with no tools and a sheet of EVA foam from the local craft store, get a hairdryer, warm it up, and over your knee can create a great shape. But you want to really go all out with it, get a heat gun. Heat guns are the best. And you'll be sitting there for 10 minutes with a hairdryer trying to heat it. You'll be over and done within about, minute and a half, 2 minutes with a heat gun.
Yeah, hairdryer's useless. I mean, if that's all you got, it's fine. But I mean, the heat guns are like, they're like £8 or $10 or something. You can get them so cheap. There's no reason for not having one really. If you're gonna buy the foam, you may as well buy a heat gun. Because also there, like I was saying before, there is a plethora of people that have made all sorts of things out of foam. You can go onto YouTube, type one good channel is Evil Ted Smith. We'll put them in the chat as well. Punish Props Academy if you wanted to get into the foam smithing stuff. Etsy is absolutely full of patterns as well. It's your original character, so it doesn't matter. You can just rip it off. If there's a pattern out there for some Pauldron or some character from, I don't know, like God of War, just use that. Just use that. So Robin's got the same idea as me. But give you an idea what you can do with foam, and it's even better if you're playing D&D on camera and you've got props and things like that. So yeah, these are some of the things. This is an axe that I made that is made completely out of EVA foam, with a little bit of, I've actually got a little bit of real leather for the handle and a little bit of fluff to go around for the fur. But yeah, that actually, I mean, it looks pretty damn good in person, if I do say myself. But on camera, it looks the shit. It actually looks like real real metal, and it's just light as a feather. It's completely, you can see that it's just complete. It's made of foam. It's completely bendable, soft. But yeah, you can get some pretty wicked results. Just with foam, and it's super cheap because yeah, you can go out and you can buy. You can go to like a LARP con or go to one of these online LARP stores and get like real metal weapons if that's what you're into. That's what you're into. Don't blame me for that. I have real swords, but if you wanted something that is not going to cost you the earth, then yeah, making something as simple as that easy, and then you just apply those to your armor pieces. So
Well, yeah, I mean, same thing here. This is a shield. It's completely made of foam. It's all bendable. This here is quite simply sheets of 10 mil foam, because you tend to get foam in different sizes if you want to order it online. So that is the benefit of ordering things online like that. So this is 10 mil foam sheets, and they've all been put together. And then what I've done is I've taken a wood burner and gone into the foam, painted it up, and this thing has seen a lot. And all the way around the side, these are pins that you would put into a wall, basically. But the reason I thought this would be good is Oliver is here to translate for me. The reason I thought this is good is because it shows a technique that I literally just described to you guys. This middle section here. So that. Oh no, does it not show up?
No, put it in front. Maybe just to the right. To the
I'm waiting for the stream camera to catch. Okay, you see that?
I'm winding you up. Everyone can see it.
This bit here. So this here is the technique that I just explained to you guys. This is 5 mil. It might be less than that. This here is basically the same foam that you would get at any craft store, those thin sheets. That's what this middle bit is. All I've done is heated it with a heat gun and pulled it over my knee to create that sort of round shape. I then shaped it with my hand and kept doing that before then letting it set, painted it. I painted it in black first, and then I built up the colors, getting them slowly lighter and lighter. The final coat is a silver highlight, which has been dry brushed on. And to do that, you simply get your brush. You just dip it into your paint. You rub most of the paint off on some blue roll or kitchen roll even, and then you just lightly head over it. And that way you'll get all the raised parts of it. And then you create a really nice metallic look, which you can do in so many different colors. And Oliver, could you hold up your axe again? So on Oliver's axe, you see the detailing on the axe there. Now, yeah, perfect. All those lovely shapes there, that is foam cut into that shape and then glued onto other foam using something called contact adhesive, which is you can get that in any hardware store. It's basically a very strong glue that you coat both parts of foam with, very thin layer, press them together. Nothing will get those apart after that. Yeah, it's brilliant stuff.
It's a shoemaker's glue. So if you're struggling to find it, just put in shoemaker's glue. It's what they use to glue the soles of shoes together. So once they touch.
Yeah, exactly. It's fantastic. You do need to be careful when using some of these things, though. First, safety things, heat guns. They're hot. I would recommend using gloves. You can get different types of gloves. Rubber coated gloves are quite good just to protect your hands when working with foam, because you can burn yourself. The foam does get really hot. Using a heat mat is a good idea as well, because you don't want to burn anything in your house or in your garage, wherever you're doing it. I have set a fire alarm off with the heat gun before, so that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, you can melt stuff.
You can melt stuff, and all of these things, wear a respirator. You're burning things like foam. There's going to be fumes. You're using contact adhesive, which is a really strong glue. Make sure if you have to do it inside, open your windows, do it at the window, and wear a ventilator. It's really important.
Yeah, don't
I'm such a hypocrite.
Don't do as we say, not as we do. Should be the name of our channel. So don't cut foam on the living room carpet. Don't make sure you work in a well ventilated area. Wear safety glasses.
I was once watching a program on firefighters, and as I was watching this program, I was sitting on a rug in the living room soldering pieces of wire together and lights on the carpet, watching a program on firefighters. I was like, yeah, do as we say, not as we do.
So what about if people want to make their fabric clothing or soft kit?
Well, there's a couple of things you can do here. First one, buying everything. Okay. So, this all arrived today, just before we jumped on. So, my next R&L cosplay is going to be cherry blossom inspired. So, I have a very cheap dress here, which I got from a company called Shein. It has, so all these embroidered flowers are all on a mesh layer on the top. So I'm going to tell you my plan for this, first of all, on just buying everything and sticking them together, because I would recommend starting there than starting with sewing patterns, but I will mention that in a second. My plan here is to remove all this lace and use it for another project later. And I have lots of cherry blossoms, so many artificial cherry blossoms, and these are going to be completely covering this and creating this lovely sort of effect down the sides. I also have some more unique ones. These are just for the purpose of being on a camera, because these are a bit much in real life, but on camera have a real nice effect.
It's like me. A bit much in real life.
On camera, he's got a great effect.
Comes across better on camera.
Oh dear. But so for making this though, I've got a few things to keep in mind. So the line around here comes quite low below my arm, and I got that on purpose, because when you're sitting here and you're trying to roll dice or move around, having things like this stuck here is going to be annoying. It's going to be itchy. It's going to make noise as well. If you are playing a game online and you've got all of these moving around as you move, it's going to create noise and interfere with your mic, which isn't going to work very well. So once I remove all my lace, the next plan is I literally sit, I pin everything where it's going to be, I put it on, and I stick my webcam on, and I sit in front of it, and I move around as if I were playing a game. And I think, right, what looks good? What doesn't look good? What do I need to do more of? And that is a really good way of troubleshooting all of that out. Now, everything I've got here, I'm going to be documenting every stage of this. I'm going to have a full price list, a full list of where I got everything from. I'm going to be hand sewing everything as well, because not everyone has a sewing machine, and hand sewing isn't that difficult. And I want to show you guys some really cool, easy techniques for hand sewing lots of little cherry blossoms on. There will be a lot of swearing though, so sorry, because oh no, it's broken. There we go.
Are you going to make a video of it, or what? How are you going to show us?
I have not decided yet.
Oh.
I'm sorry, guys.
I got excited there. I
thought
we were going to sit down and watch a tutorial.
I have not fully decided, and I don't like announcing it fully until I know exactly what I'm doing. My hope is to actually stream it, but I'm going to do a first little test myself. And if it's not looking too great, I will film it all instead. But my hope is just to stream it for you guys. You can then see it go wrong. I think actually seeing it going wrong is probably going to teach you more, because what, 90% of making a cosplay is failing at things the first time because you thought it's going to work a certain way in your head. You try it, it doesn't work, and you find a new technique or a new way to do it.
Yeah.
Or you put it in the back of the wardrobe and you pretend you never wanted to cosplay that character anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, when we moved house, I threw out an entire set of armor that I'd made 4 years ago that I never finished. There was loads of it, and it never saw the light of day because I was just ashamed of it. So, and I put so much work into it as well.
I know.
put so much. And that's the thing. I threw it out, and I was like, you know what? It has potential, but I'm still not proud of it. So I was like, oh, no. Oh, Emily says TikTok it. I don't know, but do you guys want like crafting streams? Crafting streams are still quite popular, right?
Do you want crafting stream, or do you want crafting TikToks?
Crafting TikToks are fun.
I could do crafting TikToks because I really want to learn how to do it. And again, this is how we do it because you're learning new skills. I would really love to learn how to film the process and speed it up into like a 3-minute video of just watching this get made. Oh, I want to do that. I need to learn how to do it though. So if anyone in chat's really good with that, you can message me later and teach me how to do it. And I'll teach you how to cosplay. So let's say you don't want to go and buy a base layer. I'm obviously showing you a dress as an example. You can obviously do this with a shirt, with trousers, with so many different things. Let's say you want to make it. Best thing to do is get yourself a sewing pattern. Now, sewing patterns look daunting to start off with. They're not. Also, there's a lot of terminology with them and a lot of rules. You don't actually have to follow them. I mean, you could do what I do, where you just cut out the pieces, you put them together, and you go, yep, that looks like it will make a dress. Then you cut out your fabric from there. It's as simple as that. Or even if you have, let's say you've already got a shirt and you want to create that same identical shirt, but you want it out of a totally different fabric. And this is how I made my Legolas stuff. I got a shirt that I already owned that I didn't want to wear anymore, but it fit me really well. I cut it into sections along where the shirt had been originally sewn together.
This is your Legolas from Lord of the Rings costume,
yes,
right?
Yes, yeah. That's right. It's correct. This is how I made his sort of silver shirt underneath. So then what I did, once I cut out all the pieces of fabric exactly where they'd been stitched originally, I got the fabric that I wanted to use. It's always good to do a practice run. I just never have. So then I got the fabric that I wanted to use. I then laid all my pieces down on it. I didn't draw around them. Usually you want to draw around them and cut it out like that. I actually put little weights to hold the fabric in place. I got my scissors and I cut around that, leaving about 1 inch around the whole side, because when you sew 2 pieces of fabric together, you need, this is a good example, you need some fabric on the inside to sew it to, so that otherwise you're going to end up with a shirt that's a full size smaller than what you were expecting. So once you cut it all out, you then get pins or you get little plastic clips. They're awesome. Clip it together. And then honestly, so if you're wanting to do this, get a sewing machine, because then you just want to do a real basic stitch with your sewing machine. It's basic running stitch.
Running stitch, it's called, right? Yeah.
Yeah, running stitch. Cross whole thing. It's a D&D cosplay. If it's not for a competition, if it's just to wear to your games,
Talking
or to
about a
hang
cosplay
out with.
competition, right?
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. If it's not something that you're wanting to wear to a cosplay competition, if it's just something you want to cool, get some cool photos in, hang around with your friends, you don't need to worry about finishing the seams on the inside. They don't need to look perfect because no one's going to see them. Okay, no one will see them, so there's no point in stressing out unless you want to learn how to do it. Then you can learn how to do it. But I don't bother. I just go for it. As long as I know it's not going to fall apart, I'm quite happy.
Yeah, if you have an interest in sewing, it's great. But I think, yeah, touching on what you were saying about deconstructing your already made clothes is actually I think you should do that in combination with sewing patterns, because sewing patterns don't seem like they're actually written by human beings. It's some weird thing, because I think because the sewing industry is just so old, and it's almost in some sort of weird code, sewing patterns, because you get patterns for making leather armor, you get patterns for making foam armor on the internet, you get patterns for making cardboard boxes, for crying out loud, and flat pack furniture as well. And it's very straightforward. You just go, okay, that bit goes there. That's obviously this bit. A sewing pattern, it's really bizarre. You look at it and go, how is this? How is this a shirt? I know what a shirt looks like. I've been wearing shirts for all my life. How is this supposed to be a shirt? But once you crack the code, then it becomes way more obvious. So I think if you cut the fabric out, follow the pattern, but also have a shirt that you can, or whatever piece you're using, and you can take apart at the same time, then you go, oh, that's supposed to be the underarm bit. Oh, that's supposed to be that seam there, because the terminology they use is like completely different from a lot of other fabrication. A lot of people, a lot of men actually, I've noticed in the costuming and cosplay community, but they are very averse to sewing for whatever reason. But really,
Yeah.
it's the same. Like, crafting is literally having two materials, sticking them together, and then finishing it. In fact, sewing is actually easier, because if you stick two pieces of metal together, you have to weld it. If you stick two pieces of foam together, you have to glue it. If you stick two pieces of wood together, you have to glue it and or nail it. But once you finish those projects, finish the gluing part, the sticking part, then you have to finish it. You either have to sand it or prime it or paint it or do whatever you want. With sewing, with using fabrics, all you're doing is putting two materials together exactly the same way as you would anything else, and the sewing, the stitch, is literally just the thing that's sticking it together. But once you've done that, then it's actually finished, because you don't have to paint. I mean, you can paint, obviously, but in general, usually once you've sewn it together, it's done. There's no priming or painting or anything.
Yeah, it's something that once you know how to do it, it's a great skill to have in life anyway.
Yeah, because everyone wears
Especially,
clothes, right?
yeah, you wear clothes all the
Most people.
time. Most of you wear clothes all the time. And it's great to be able to get items and just know that if they are too long, you can make them shorter. If the sleeves are too tight, you can let them out. Being able to do that is just such a great skill to have anyway. Especially if you end up finding items of clothing that are, the last one available and they're not quite your size, to be able to go and alter them yourself is absolutely great. And I do that with a lot of pieces of clothing now, and it also creates really unique individual items to you as well, which I think is a pretty cool thing to have.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, so something that Emily mentioned in the chat, and that is spot on. If you have any local crafting stores, so these can be now I don't know the names of all the different types of crafting stores that you'll get everywhere, but we get something called Hobbycraft. These places have sewing machines, and usually you can pay to go in and use their sewing machines in store. If you don't want to buy a big top fancy sewing machine, but you want to use one, you can go into these places and you can use their sewing machines. As an extension to that, a lot of these places offer classes, usually by people who own the shop or work there, and they will sit and talk you through everything and make it nice and simple and help you out with that. So if you really want to make something yourself like that, go speak to them because they will be able to help you. Also, they're going to have all the materials that you're going to need as well, which is a huge win. You don't have to worry about making sure you have everything, because one of the most frustrating things about creating a cosplay is getting everything out and ready, and you go to start and you realize you're missing one thing that you need, one color of thread that you just don't have, and it completely stops. And for me anyway, I need to be in the mood to go and craft something like that and spend a few hours on it. And that can sometimes be enough just for me to be like, oh, fine, I'll do it again later. And then later never tends to come.
So what's some of the alternatives then that we can talk about is for soft kit? I think one thing's worth bringing up is that I think it's safe to assume that most Dungeons and Dragons campaigns, their settings are usually medieval Europe inspired. So so going to live action role playing stores or reenactment stores online or in person, you can find these just basic soft kits. The LARP community calls them your fabric shirts. Usually the natural fiber cotton shirts without zippers and modern buttons or collars. Obviously, you can get them from there. You can get a lot of crazy things from Wish, but I think everybody knows that that's kind of hit and miss, but it's cheap. But if it's just to sit on camera and you just want a generic shirt that would fit in Fantasyland, then that can always be an option as well.
Yeah. No, definitely. On to another option with cosplaying your characters. If you actually do have a bit of money to put behind something like this and you really want to go all out, but don't necessarily want to make everything yourself, you can, first of all, Etsy. You can buy these sort of items from Etsy. You can get ready-made medieval garb from Etsy that would work perfectly for most D&D characters. You can get sword holster cases, you can get different leather straps, you can get quivers, all sorts. And as an extension to that, you can commission, which is basically when you pay someone else in the community to make your full outfit for you or to make part of it for you. So, for example, if you've made a whole load of it or you've bought a whole load of it, but you're really struggling to get one particular piece, or your character has a real fancy sword belt or something like that, you can commission someone to do it. And there's lots of people out there to do this sort of thing. It takes the stress away. Not everybody makes their first cosplay. A lot of people will buy them.
Yeah.
Another site that's really good is Aliexpress. Aliexpress has so many items for cosplayers. And if your D&D character has been inspired in any way by another character already out there within the fandom, then you can just buy that outfit and then whether it to
tweak
make it
it.
look, tweak it, make it look more like your character. If let's say your character was inspired by Black Widow from Marvel, but the difference is instead of guns they have swords, you could literally get a Black Widow cosplay from AliExpress, or you can go more expensive and go through Etsy and so on, and then you tweak it, you alter it yourself, you add the accessories to it to make it work.
Yeah, we've been mentioning a few websites and resources. If you are in the Discord, or if you want to join the
Yeah.
Discord, we'll put all the links to the YouTube videos and websites that we've talked about here as well, just in case you're like, well, which one was that? What was the one that you talked about earlier?
Yeah,
We'll
actually, guys, this is a good, this sort of, this chat here is a bit of a warm up because I am currently putting together a large blog post at the minute on all your basic tips on cosplaying. And within that, I am going to link all the resources, everything you could possibly want. Lovely big sheet. But if there's anything specific in the meantime before that comes out, if you're like, oh, I really want to do fake scars this weekend for a character, just message this into the Discord, and Emily's on it. I just went to do it. She is on it.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's really good.
It's because we pay her so well. That's why.
It is. We pay her so well. That's why she's just on it all the time.
Yeah.
Yes. Then just message us in the Discord, and we can put everything out there. Actually, while we're on the topic of Discord as well, another thing that I'd love to mention, just while I'm remembering it now, Oliver, is that we do have a feedback section in the Discord. If there's anything that you would like to see, like to know more about, or any feedback at all, we would love to hear it from you guys, because we are both very new to setting all of this up and are looking to improve where we need to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I mean, the last time the last format that we had done, because we are going to do a podcast. We had thought that we would stream the podcast, but after the last stream, we were really struggling to do it in a podcast format and have it. I think we just felt it was a little bit too formal for stream. We couldn't talk to you guys.
Yeah.
So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna record the podcast separately, but still keep up with these live chats. Eventually, we are going to be having a D&D campaign. We're not confident to give you the date because we've got a few things we want to sort out before we kick off the campaign. Just a few little kind of admin things that we want to sort out before we announce an official date. It's looking like it's going to be kind of first week in February, hopefully. We kind of want it to be in this Thursday slot. So these types of streams, we do want to keep them happening, but eventually there will be at least one stream a week playing Dungeons and Dragons. But we still want to keep up and do these live chats, but maybe just have them a little bit more casual rather than maybe the podcast, which is going to be just pre-recorded and then released regularly. We will just do these live chats, but we felt it ourselves last time. We got a little bit of feedback, and to Robin's point, any suggestions or feedback or anything you'd like to see us do, then please let us know. We are all for the feedback.
It's under text channels, ideas, and feedback. Stick it in there. Because it helps. Emily, let's see literal character creation before the D&D. That is something we're working with some people that have done something similar. Before their D&D stream campaign, they went through the game prep. I don't know if they went through the character creation, but if that's something that you guys want to do, I mean, we could just do because it's going to be, I'm going to be GMing, Robin is going to be playing, so we could do a streamed character creation, or at least a stream kind of rolling of stats, or we can create the character and then we can talk through the character creation process. But you know what we could totally do actually, Ollie, is we could share the D&D Beyond screen and literally from stage one and just go straight from the picking what we're doing, rolling the stats, putting them into different attributes and going through there.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be really beneficial for a lot of people, actually.
Yeah.
And
I mean, what I personally would like to do, not do it live, but I would like to do a post. I would like to do a post stream on our session 0, because the idea of a session 0 is partly the privacy of it, because you talk about things like safeguarding, what we're comfortable with, what we're not comfortable with, and I think the session 0, it's become extremely popular. So some of the bigger D&D influencers and names still aren't keen on it. But I've got enough experience now to know that it's extremely important to have a session 0 beforehand instead of just flying straight into a campaign. If it's especially if it's someone that you're like, right, okay, we're going to be on stream, we're going to be playing for a long time. I would like to go through a session 0 with you, Robin, and then I think it'd be quite fun to do that with kind of post character creation as well. Even if you have to make the character twice, but we can go through what type of things that I went through with you before starting a campaign. That might be interesting.
I mean, looking at the chat now, that's I think the consensus is definitely want to see it from the beginning. That's Carol, Emily, and also Taz all wanting to see that from the beginning. Especially Taz made a good point there, from not having played D&D before, being able to see that, and then Tom as well. I think that could be really good. We go from the beginning, show how we do it, how we actually create the character, where the stats go, everything else, and then you get to see the character getting played out, which could be really interesting. And you mentioned safeguarding there. That is something I would love to speak a bit more about on stream as well, and letting everybody know how that works and why it's important, and so on, and going through the resources. And I will be making those resources available in the game resource section of our Discord page, so that everybody has got them for their own games as well and knows what to expect as well. It's just so important. I don't even know if I can stress it enough.
And there's other aspects as well. It's every game master is going to have their own way of doing it, but it might give you an idea of what to expect from a session 0. Some game masters will do a session 0 just over the phone or text chat. Some people just don't like the term session 0, but it's still, even if you have someone who's like, oh, I don't believe in session 0 because how is it a session 0? The first session you play is session 1, but even if they're saying to their players, hey, do you want to join my campaign? It's about this. And they're like, yeah, my character's this. Is that okay? And they go, yeah, that's technically what session 0 is. It's just a very bad one. So that people will do it in a different way, but it might give people a good idea of what to expect. And I think that would be quite fun. So we can maybe organize that for the Thursday before we start streaming, then the D&D campaign.
That could be a good one. We can walk you guys through the session 0, walk you guys through the character creation, everything else, and just allow you to see that whole process. And also you can see the pain in my face when I roll the stats on stream and don't get what I want. I'm a baby, okay? When I don't get the stats I want, I get really upset. So, you can witness that.
Well,
throwing a full tantrum.
I'm a very lenient DM. Taz is asking what do you mean by session 0? It's so usually like session 1 is the first game of Dungeons and Dragons you all sit down to play. So the idea of a session 0 is that, like the first session, everyone gets together, but you don't play the game of D&D. You're all sitting down. You're making characters. I think that's where it kind of started, was the whole, we all get together, we talk about the campaign, and we all make our characters together. But it's become, I think that they've made it so the official publications, they've only really recognized session 0 recently in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
Yes.
If you have Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, or you want to get it on D&D Beyond, there is a full there's a full chapter on Session Zero. Another good resource is Mike Shea over at Sly Flourish. His book, The Lazy DM's
Yeah,
Guide, is a very good book for this type of thing. His YouTube channel's great as well. Also his website. He has a very concise explanation of a Session Zero and what it should contain. It's written from more of a DM's perspective than a player's perspective, but you'll get a good grasp of what a Session Zero is and can be. And for a lot of people now, the Session Zero is usually talk about the game, and then you might actually just play a snippet of the campaign. It's not what we'll do, but for people getting together, I think the idea is that everyone's got together. They're excited about D&D. You spend most of the session talking about what everyone expects, what everyone wants from it, what's everyone not happy playing. We'll go through that. That's what safeguarding is. We can go through that, and then usually at the end they'll go, oh yeah, we'll just do either a little encounter or a little like prologue that'll only take half an hour. Like I said, we won't be doing that, but that's can sometimes what happens in a Session Zero.
Yeah, it really lays out those expectations, I think, from the players and from the DM as well when it comes to what type of campaign it's going to be. And that can relate to, is it roleplay heavy? Is it combat heavy? Are we all happy role playing? How does everybody feel about this? What is everybody thinking about this aspect? You're actually able to discuss it. And like Oliver is saying, because Oliver did a Session Zero for his Adventures in Middle Earth 5e campaign. And that Session Zero involved us discussing it because it was a new game system.
Yeah, it's a 5e. It's a D&D 5th edition adaptation. So there was rules in there that everyone was familiar with. Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition rules, but there were new rule mechanics in there, and it's far easier. Instead of messaging everybody individually with all the different questions, it's far easier just to get together and just go through them one at a time, being like, this is this new mechanic in the game, this is how it works. That's another reason for a Session Zero.
Yeah, exactly. And I loved what you did because you actually did a little sort of combat sequence, which wasn't necessarily, well, to this day we don't know if it was canon or not.
It was canon. It was canon.
We did that little session, which was really good because at the time it was a new sort of range of classes, and I was stuck between two, so stuck that we basically decided that you gave us the free rein to pick a class, do a little bit of combat and role play with that. If it didn't feel right for the first session, we could change it, which you just say that you're very lenient as a DM. I think you are very lenient as a DM, which is good because it's a game that's fun and everybody's having fun and enjoying it together. So I think it is really good to have that and be able to do that. I'm just thinking. So that's been a few people that I've now mentioned about going through character creation and so on. I definitely think, yes, let's do my character creation on stream and we'll go through all that. But guys in chat, would it be beneficial for us to do a stream like this, the next sort of chatting stream, but go through creating characters? Because there's been a few terms mentioned in chat, and for someone who doesn't know anything about D&D, it's going to sound confusing. Emily, for example, mentioning the fact that Laura only uses standard array. Terms like standard array, rolling for stats, or point buy are going to sound really confusing to a lot of people. Even people who have played D&D for a very long time, if they've never used a point buy system, they're not going to understand it.
I still don't know. I can work a point buy system. I don't actually understand the math behind it, but
well, we could literally do that and go through creating. We can create a couple of characters from scratch and just go through that sort of thing. And just as people ask questions, as we are putting up bits in the sheet, if there's something that someone's like, oh, I don't know what that term means or why I'm choosing that, we could go through it, and that could be a lot of fun, just mucking about with D&D Beyond.
Yeah, yeah. No, I have access to everything on D&D Beyond, so we can
We can maybe do that. I mean, guys in chat, let us know if you think that would be very beneficial or something that you'd actually be interested in, because I mean, we're not exactly experts, but at this point we've played so much of it that I'm confident that we could create a good few characters and go through all the stats and what they all mean and everything. I want to say, Robin, make something that's not an elf, monk, or bard.
We'd be waiting a long time.
Long time. Astrid wasn't any of those things.
Yeah, but she wasn't in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. That was a completely different tabletop role-playing game.
I could have been an elf, and I wasn't.
But the elves in that world are completely different. It's a game. Robin's character that she's speaking about was set in the Dragon Age universe, and elves in the Dragon Age universe are not quite like elves in Dungeons and Dragons and Middle Earth settings.
Yeah.
A little bit different.
Fine. I mean, I did also play a bugbear fighter for a while. Fine, I'll create a character that's not an elf or a monk or a bard. But if you want to know anything about elves, monks, or bards, I'm a fountain of knowledge for you. Please use me. I'm happy to answer those questions. Yeah, that would be good, I think, actually, just explaining different things, because there's a lot of terms that, okay, for me, key and monks, easiest thing in the world. I'm so used to it. See, when wizards start talking about spell books, I've never played one, and I don't have a lot of knowledge with that field at all. And I do kind of give a bit of a blank stare.
I mean, you played a bard. I mean, a bard uses arcana magic anyway.
But I just
it's pretty much similar. The only difference between a bard and a wizard is that the bards don't have to prep spells, which is one of the cool things about playing a bard, because you don't have to. You just, once you know the spell, you just know it, and you don't have to prep it every day, which is cool.
I always wanted to make a bard that just has a tuning fork with them, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Davin only has a horn.
Yeah.
So that's all he used.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's it. We need to go through all that, go through some character creation, go through some D&D terms, and hopefully make sense of them or make them even more confusing. It's going to be one or the other, I think. Sweet.
Yeah. I guess I better wrap up. Oh, can I play video games tomorrow?
Can you play? Are you asking me permission to play video? Yes, you can play video games.
Okay.
Do you want to play it for these guys?
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of want to play some video games. I don't think I've got anything else on.
Yeah.
I'll be back on this channel tomorrow. I think we'll say 6 again. We'll say 6 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon. I don't know what am I playing. I've downloaded. We've completed the Lord of the Rings Lego. I have the Hobbit downloaded, Lego Hobbit downloaded. If we could play through that. I've never actually played that one though. I did have a suggestion for playing the Mass Effect trilogy. I'm not entirely sure whether my computer can actually handle streaming that. We can maybe try that after the Hobbit, but I think we'll play some Hobbit tomorrow.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. Go for some Hobbit tomorrow, and then we'll wrap up here. Rating wise, can we raid Sarah?
Yeah, we can raid Sarah. So
yeah, guys. So Sarah's currently playing 7 Days to Die, which is a survival horror game. She's been playing it quite a lot recently, and it's pretty interesting to watch. So she's over there with a few of her other friends playing away. So definitely show her some.
Yeah. Does she have a wig on?
I haven't opened up her stream yet.
Well, yeah. So
she usually has a wig on. She'll look great. Whatever. Yeah. I'm sure she has a wig on.
Yeah, sure. She always looks good. Yeah. Congratulations to Speedrun on Instagram. If you haven't, even though the giveaway's over, go check out our Instagram. To have to roll? To have to roll. To have to roll. No underscore.
On Instagram. I just put it in here.
Put it in there. Join our Discord. Check out our website, tohavetoroll.com. For upcoming blog posts on cosplay, there's already one there on 5 tips to be a better D&D player if you haven't checked that out yet. Yeah, and we'll see you guys later. Let's start raiding the goblin.
Awesome. See you guys later. Show her lots of love.
Bye.
Bye.
It's going. It's going. 2, 1, bye.
Bye.
Maybe you. Oh gosh, that's a lot of zombies.